All right, guys, welcome back to the TaporSnap podcast. I'm Ricardo, and I am here with Ujwal. Unfortunately, the other members of the podcast are not here, so it's
Yeah.
the dynamic duo today. Um, there's not been too much in terms of UFC to cover,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
there
Hmm.
are MMA related events,
Yeah.
like the big one that got recently announced: Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano coming back and fighting under Jake Paul's promotion of all things. Like, what is that? I remember just a couple of episodes ago, we were all talking about is Ronda Rousey coming back,
Yeah.
et cetera, in the UFC or not. Turns out you guys were onto something because she did mention that she tried to convince Dana White to stage the comeback in the UFC, but supposedly the UFC wasn't interested, so she ended up going the MVP route. So, what do we think of that? That's kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy because why not, right? Like, it would have been a great novelty event on a big card. Gina Carano, not at her best, was a legend. Ronda Rousey, like, nowhere near her prime, but, like, still, it could have been one of those fights that we never got to see, but now we can. So it could have been a novelty contest, not one of the. They don't need to market it as one of the best, fighting one of the best. It could have been a proper Legends matchup, and people would be excited for it, I'm sure. It's weird on Dana's part. I don't know. I think he dropped the ball on that because, and then that too, they're going with the MVP route with Jake Paul, nonetheless, who Dana, despises with a passion.
Yeah, he hates him.
So
Hates him.
yeah, but hey, at least we are getting the matchup, so I'm good with that. Like, Ronda is not going to get hurt too much because it's Gina Carano, a good fighter, but not at her prime, right? So I think this is the right moment for both of those legends to meet and put on a good fight, which people would be interested in seeing. I, for one, am. So, all in all, I'm happy with it. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I'm not too excited about the fight just because there's really only one person I want to see Ronda Rousey fight if she were to come back, which she is. She's coming back. And it's
Who
not
is
Gina
that?
Carano. I didn't care about the Gina Carano matchup when Ronda Rousey was still an active fighter and she was
Hmm.
undefeated and everything,
Yeah,
because Gina Carano hasn't fought since 2009, I think. That's a long, long, long time ago. That's
yeah,
a long time ago. I mean, there are people who are, what, 16 today who were born around the time Gina Carano stopped fighting. And
yeah.
they have no idea she's a fighter. They just know her from being kind of a B-list actress. And,
Mandalorian. I think
Ronda
that's
Rousey,
from where people know her.
yeah. And so I wasn't interested then. I'm not interested now that, Gina Carano's like 43, Ronda Rousey's 39 or 40 herself. I think it's just I think it's a bad look for Ronda in the sense that it wasn't that long ago that she was saying, "Oh yeah, all the losses I have, which are only two, it's go, yeah, I was dealing with concussions and this and that and so on," and then she comes back. It's like, okay, weren't you dealing with concussions? So it just kind of sheds light on the fact that she's a sore loser and
Yeah,
she just could not stomach those losses. She's a legend. Women's MMA would not be what it is today without her, without
yeah,
either of them, to be
yeah.
honest.
True.
But the matchup itself, I don't know. I'm expecting something really sloppy because they've both been out of the game for so long. Gina Carano especially. And I don't know. I do think it's gonna pull some numbers because it's easy for hardcore fans to go, oh yeah, nobody's gonna watch that. They're both over the hill, and they're both remembered, at least in hardcore circles, for retiring off of losses. You know, both reacting pretty badly to the first losses of their career. Gina Carano lost to Cyborg and then never came back. Ronda Rousey lost to Holly Holm. She did come back a year later, but she dealt with the loss pretty badly, like hiding her face from paparazzi, etc., and then demanding that in her interviews no one asks her about the loss and this and that, and then she comes back, fights Amanda Nunes, loses, and then just calls it a day. It's easy for hardcore fans to be like, oh yeah, well this and that, we're not interested, but I think the casual fan will tune in It's Jake Paul's promotion. It already draws in casual fans. Ronda Rousey's a very big name. And Gina Carano is also, people know of Gina Carano because of her roles in the movies and also because of her controversies.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Hell
people,
yeah.
they know of her. Now, I don't know if people will be as excited to watch Ronda Rousey because I think a big part of the Ronda Rousey mania back in the day was she was undefeated. She was the first American Olympic medalist, bronze, silver, gold, whatever, in judo. So she's a historic figure in that sense. So she's an American hero. She was undefeated. She was a trailblazer, and her fights were fast. Ronda Rousey's fights were really fast. You could fit them in a GIF if you wanted to. There were fights of hers that were so short, you just put them in the GIF. Her fights weren't really violent, so moms would take little girls to watch because there was never any blood. The striking wasn't really brutal like that. She would just, hip toss you or head and arm throw you, get a quick
Yeah,
arm bar. She was starting to win via TKO here and there, but it was never one of those kinds of fights where people would go, "Oh, I wouldn't let my kid watch this." It was exciting. It was like Mike Tyson in his prime. But then she loses, and then she says all that stuff about Sandy Hook and all that. She does lose a lot of fans. I don't know if she's gonna pull as many views as we expect, but I think it's going to be a big spectacle. As far as Dana White is concerned, I don't think he gives a shit. I think Dana White's fine because I think he thinks that the UFC is too big to fail and that he's doing nothing wrong, even though I think Dana White's been making a couple of mistakes. Like the Diego Lopez Volk 2 matchup. Nobody wanted to see that except Diego Lopez. And just a few weird decisions that he's been making, but I don't think he cares. We spoke about the White House card not that long ago, and we mentioned that there are no stars besides Ilya Topuria and Alex Pereira, Islam Makhachev, but there's no one that can really headline the card. John Jones is talking about arthritis. Alex Pereira has the foot injury. Islam Makhachev won't fight on the White House card because I don't know, he doesn't have an opponent yet. It's just a weird situation where the UFC doesn't have stars as much as they used to have. Dana White isn't really putting on the fights the fans want, and he just doesn't care. He's focused on the Zuffa boxing thing, slap fighting. I think he thinks that the UFC is just too big to fail. There's nothing anyone can do.
hmm.
I don't think he cares about the Ronda situation. I think he cares that it's happening under
MVP.
most valuable promotions for
Yeah,
sure. I think
yeah.
he fucking hates that. But yeah, I'll still watch the matchup because I know there's gonna be some goofy highlights there. But in
But
terms of excitement, I don't know.
and then again, I mean, he would have lost nothing. He would have gained like I mean, he would have lost literally nothing. I feel, and I mean, maybe he just wants to be this premium promotion who doesn't, put out some like subpar fights. Maybe that's it. I don't know, but how I see this is any kind of exposure is good. Like that's what they say, right? Any kind of
Yeah,
publicity is good publicity. So these two, even Ronda Rousey,
right.
like be maybe Gina Carano, both are infamous kind of right now. Ronda Rousey because of her
Yeah,
comments about the media and the fans, like going after her after her losses. Gina Carano for other statements and the Mandalorian exit and stuff. So like these two are in the
yeah.
headlines, not for fighting essentially, but they are. So the newer section of the casual fans, they might find this intriguing. That rightfully, I mean, like you said, the newer section of fans, the casual fan base, might find this really exciting, and they'll be like, "Hey, let's do it. So let's watch it. Let's buy the pay per view." So I don't know. I think it's a win for MVP. I kind of feel, even if it won't be a technically, great fight or anything. It might be sloppy, like you said, but
Yeah.
hey, it's gonna sell some tickets, I guess. Anyways, we'll see, right? We'll see. It's not that far away, I
Oh,
guess.
it definitely will sell.
Yeah.
It will definitely sell tickets, and it's this is the MVP brand. They brought back Mike Tyson, and that was a terrible fight, but people tuned in,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I mean I don't know what people were expecting. Mike Tyson was almost 60. at the time. I don't know what people were expecting. But this is going to be a spectacle for sure. I don't think either of them will fight again after this
Oh, true, true, true.
because unless it's a fight where one of them just completely runs over the other, and so they just feel good about how well they did, and they're like, you know what, I want to fight one more time. But we'll see. I just think it's funny how Ronda Rousey did an interview and she's just like, "Oh yeah, this fight came to be because I saw Gina Carano and I love her so much and she gained so much weight that I was like, oh damn, let me help you out." And it's just wow, crazy thing to say about someone you supposedly admire. You're like,
Yeah,
hey, you look terrible. Let
yeah.
me help you. This is such a terrible thing to say, especially because Gina Carano's been pretty open about her struggles with mental health and all that. So it's weird for Ronda to say something like that, but it's Ronda. She's never, you know. But interesting fight. We'll see what
Interesting fight.
happens.
Interesting fight. Yeah.
Speaking of the influencer combat sports genre,
Hmm.
what do you think
Hmm.
about the Dean the Great situation where he got slapped by Larry Wheels and
Yeah.
then he got and then he got elbowed by former UFC fighter? I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely
I
ridiculous
have
behavior from
questions.
him.
I have questions. Okay, because this guy isn't he as kind of a respected figure in freestyle wrestling, isn't he, Dean the Great? Because I have seen people approaching him and say, being very cordial with him
Boxing.
and stuff. Oh, sorry, boxing. uh I have seen people
Yeah.
approaching him and being, very cordial with him, up and coming boxers even. So I thought, like, first of all,
Hmm.
I don't know enough about him, but yeah, from after this week, yes, I do know a lot about him. But I thought he
Yeah.
was he was not a troll figure. I thought he was somebody who was, kind of respected in the circles. What happened here? Am I wrong in assuming that was he always a troll?
I mean, I didn't follow him, and I still don't follow him, but I wasn't familiar with him beyond just, oh, who's this Dean the Great guy on this influencer like YouTube boxing card? Who is this guy? And just noticing, okay, he's got some decent fundamentals, but I had no idea what his like influencer persona was like. I had no idea what he was about. So when I heard about this, I was like, got slapped by Larry Wheels, and I know Larry Wheels because Larry Wheels is a genetic freak of nature. The guy's one of the pound for pound strongest power lifters
Yeah,
in the world.
and
He's
he's
not a power
juiced
lifter
up.
anymore.
He's not even human.
He's
He's like,
juiced to the gills, juiced to
yeah,
the gills,
yeah,
and he's just an absolute freak. So I've known about Larry Wheels just because it's like, okay, let me follow this guy. I like I work out. I like to follow strength athletes, powerlifters, etc. Let's see what this guy's about. Oh, this guy's really strong, like freakishly strong,
yeah.
and to have the physique that he has to be that strong, I was like, okay, this is an interesting guy to follow. And then I just kind of fell out of that realm for a bit. Fast forward a couple of years later, Larry Wheels is now streaming and all this and that. Okay, he's streaming. I didn't know. And then I just see on my Twitter feed, Dean the Great got slapped by Larry Wheels. What? What happened?
He
So I
swung
watched the
him
clip
around
and
too. By the way, he swung the guy around like a freaking
oh yeah,
cartwheel.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, because they had there was that a whole sparring
wrestling.
session where Dean the Great
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
yeah, where Dean the Great was like, oh, size means nothing, skill and technique.
yeah,
And Larry
yeah.
Wheels is like, that's the most bullshit thing I've ever heard. And to an extent, that is true. Like, come on, anybody who's trained should know that size does make a massive difference, a
Massive, massive.
massive difference. Yeah. So it was just funny. And then apparently Dean the Great, I'm just gonna call him Dean. He made some comments about Larry Wheels' wife, like some really disrespectful comments, and Larry took it upon himself to just smack him. And Dean follows that up by just talking shit to a former UFC fight. Both of these guys, by the way, outweigh him by a lot. They're much bigger than him. And he decides to talk shit to one of them. And the guy even asks Dean, like, are you serious? And that's when he elbows him. And what is crazy about this is that Rampage was being the voice of reason in both situations. When is Rampage
Oh
ever
shit.
the voice of reason for anything?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you better
That's
take it
crazy.
seriously when that guy's the voice of reason because he's one of the most unhinged people alive. So, yeah,
Genuinely, he's
yeah.
insane. But what did you make of the entire thing when you saw it on your timeline or people probably sending you the clip?
I don't know, man. It was so weird and out of pocket. I was like, how can someone physically that much smaller than the people who you're trying to bully have it in them? So we sometimes we have these toxic traits, right? Like we feel we can do
Yeah.
anything. You see a guy doing a flag on a pole, like a flag pose, you'll be like, hey, I can do that. But when you see a mountain of a man and you are 5'5", how do you think I can? Yeah, I can take him on. Oh, I can bully him. I don't get it. I was like, you poor little man. What the hell?
Who understands what is
Yeah,
going through Dean the Great? It's just weird.
yeah,
How is it that he walked up? He saw Larry Wheels and
yeah,
he's like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Maybe he didn't know who he was
yeah,
and he just assumed, okay, he's just a gym bro. But okay, how many gym bros look like Larry Wheels? He's
yeah,
not only on an insane amount of steroids,
yeah,
he's also just jacked beyond what you would typically see at a
yeah,
gym.
yeah.
Like,
Sure.
there's just no way about it because most people who are on steroids look terrible anyway because you need to just have good genetics, you need to train well, you
Yeah,
need to have a good genetic response to steroids, among other things. And Larry Wheels looking like that, you should know, okay, that guy's a specimen. And
mm,
if you do know who he is, you would have never because he's freakishly strong. He's
very
really
strong.
really strong. Rampage had a brief like wrestling tussle with him, took him
He
down and
struggled. He
everything. But
struggled, but yeah,
Rampage, yeah, he said two things. He's like this guy's strong, and he said he's really heavy because I think Larry Wheels is around the 300-pound mark.
yeah,
So that's a big man. That's insanely heavy. I don't know what Dean the Great was thinking. He's quite small
yeah.
and he's not even small and jacked, Like he's not even small and like like a Volkanovski. Volkanovski's small, but he's jacked. He's a strong guy. Dean the
He's
Great
strong.
is
He's strong.
not. He just Dean just looks like he just looks like a guy, a normal guy that you just see on the streets who happens to be a boxer. So just silly. I think he's doing it for clout because I don't know,
Hmm.
maybe he realized he's not gonna get that much fame or success as an influencer boxer. So
Yeah.
he's deciding to create these viral moments, but I don't think that's
CTE
smart
is
because you're
real.
getting CTE for
CTE.
free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's only a finite amount of that shit you can take, your brain can take. After a while, it just gives up.
Yeah.
You start
Gives up.
mumbling like a lot of these fighters. So, not a.
Especially if you're taking hits from people that much bigger than you. Crazy.
Have
They're
you?
way
Oh,
bigger
sorry,
than you.
sorry. Yeah, continue, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just kind of capping it off. Like, yeah, the
Yeah.
CTE is going to come. He's getting hit by guys that are at least 100 to, in Larry's case,
Exactly.
maybe 200 pounds heavier than him.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's crazy.
Dude,
It's
like
genuinely silly of
coming to
him.
the topic of little, like smaller skilled guys fighting larger guys, right? Have you seen that
Hmm.
podcast episode where Sean O'Malley was talking to this? Who's that guy, man? Like who always says I'm 6'5", 265 pounds. That bodybuilder guy,
Oh,
Sarah
Bradley
Safari.
Martin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bradley Martin. So
yeah.
Bradley was asking him, "Do you think you can take me on a street fight?" In a street fight. So what Sugar said, what O'Malley said, really made sense. So he said something along the lines of,
Hmm.
"I would be really scared to fight you. I wouldn't want to fight you because you're that much bigger than me. But if it comes to it, I believe I
Yeah.
have the skills to kill you." That's what he said. So even professional trained fighters, they understand, like understand the
Hmm.
disadvantage you are put under when you're fighting a larger opponent, like really, really freakishly larger, stronger opponent.
Yeah.
You, when really experienced fighters show concern, people who are not that experienced in fighting, I mean, they should realize, like, I should not mess with these people, you know? Like, size has its
Yeah,
advantages
don't
unless you are, you know, like
trust.
freakishly talented and like sly and sneaky with your, you know, fighting skills, which I
Yeah,
doubt
you
people
you
are.
really have to be. Yeah, I mean those are genetic outliers. There have been examples of certain like BJ Penn back in the day. BJ Penn fought
Yeah.
as heavy as a
Light
middleweight, I
heavyweight.
think.
Didn't he go to light?
That light
Didn't
heavyweight,
he
like
fight Leoto
I
Machida?
yeah, he did. He fought Lyoto Machida, and
See,
even if the
well,
fight wasn't at light heavyweight, maybe it was at middleweight.
maybe
Lyoto Machida was a light heavyweight at some point in the UFC. He was a champion at light
champion.
heavyweight.
Yeah.
Yeah, around the time he gave John Jones the most trouble out of anybody until, John Jones eventually fought better and better opponents. But it's just one of those situations where, yeah, BJ Penn's an outlier. Guys like that are outliers. It's not common. You should not go around picking fights with someone that's significantly larger than you for
Exactly.
really dumb reasons as well. You're gonna get hurt. And yeah, and in this case, it's weird because Sean O'Malley's right. He's right. The best you can hope for in a situation with Bradley Martin, if you're smaller than him, but you're a lot more skilled than him, just get him tired. Just get him tired. Just dance around him. Don't let him grab you. Maintain your distance. Lateral footwork here and there. He'll get tired very
Yeah.
quickly.
Very quickly.
Very,
Yeah.
very quickly.
Yeah.
Because people who don't train don't understand just how fast you can get tired if you have never trained. Like one of my favorite things to do is literally like, okay, just like shadow box for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Just shadow box 15 seconds. People get tired. And it's just funny. So yeah, you could just get them tired. And then once you're tired, yeah, that's kind of a wrap.
That's
But if Bradley Martin just if he grabs Sean O'Malley, it's pretty much over. It's over. It's just there's nothing you can do about that. So Dean, very silly thing for him to do. I don't know what his plan
stupid.
is. I don't know if it's just for clout or if he's genuinely that stupid. So we'll see. Maybe he's gonna get knocked out by somebody else.
Yeah. That would be great. Like 3 for 3. Let's see if he goes 3 for 3 the week.
If he goes through, that would be
Yeah.
terrible for him. Oh my goodness.
For him, yeah, for the combat sports world, things are looking a bit,
Yeah,
dry these days. So maybe.
they are. But hey, at least we have the UFC Houston card to look
Yeah,
forward to
exactly,
with
exactly.
Sean
One
Strickland versus Fluffy Hernandez. That's gonna be a good
interesting
fight.
one, isn't it? Oh, that is an interesting one. How do you see it
It is
going
an
down,
interesting one
Ricardo?
because it's both. I mean, that's a tough one. They're both guys who don't really get tired. I mean, Sean Strickland, he has good cardio, but Sean Strickland doesn't get tired more so because Sean Strickland fights in a way that works in his favor in terms of not getting tired. He's always the one setting the pace. He's always coming forward. And he just kind of walks. He walks around. He walks around the cage. He doesn't shuffle from side to side using lateral footwork or anything. He just walks like he fights very tall, straight up, just kind of like walking. And walking is something that most people can do with no issue whatsoever. You don't
Yeah.
really get tired from walking unless you're in terrible shape.
Or
So
unless you're walking
the fact that he
backwards, which
spends
it never
so much
does.
time just walking,
Yeah.
yeah. So he just walks, 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 teep, jab with the occasional right hand. So he doesn't really get tired. He's also never really forced to grapple as much or to fight at a high
Hmm.
volume. But in this last fight with DDP, he did get a little tired. Like he didn't gas out, but he was more tired than you're used to seeing Sean Strickland be tired.
But wasn't that more
And
so his nose getting broken mid-fight?
even before that, he was slowing down to a degree. Like
Hmm.
he wasn't gassing out. You could just tell, okay, he's he's not as comfortable as he usually is with the pace of the fight. Because DDP got a very good read on Sean Strickland and he realized, okay, I just can't let him dictate the pace. And this happens with a lot of fighters who have good cardio. The moment you refuse to let them dictate the pace, they get tired.
Yeah.
They don't gas out, but they do get a little tired, more so than usual.
Yeah.
And I don't think that would bode well against Fluffy Hernandez because that guy
Hmm.
does not get tired. He's like a middleweight version of Cain Velasquez, you know? He just
Yeah.
comes forward, just all offense all the time. Great wrestler, great grappler. Um, Not necessarily someone who controls you. He'll
Hmm.
get the takedowns and then he'll let you get back up and then he'll
Yeah.
take you down again. The Marab
Morale style.
formula.
Yeah.
Because it's exhausting, you know. It's exhausting. You get taken down, and then you have to get back up, and then you get taken down, and then you have to get back up. That's very tiring. He never sits in anyone's guard because he doesn't want to get submitted. Even though, like, come on, it's 2026. Hardly anyone gets submitted in another fighter's
Yeah.
guard anymore.
Hmm. Very rare. Yeah.
That's why that's why I always roll my eyes whenever, Joe Rogan or whatever is like, oh, he's in so and so's guard, he's a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt. Yeah, you know, unless you're a bad grappler, that's not really gonna matter at all because again, how many people get submitted in their opponent's guard these days? Some do, but it's very low level shit. It's like getting submitted by a guillotine choke or a kimura.
Yeah.
You have to either be much worse, like a lot worse than the guy you're fighting at grappling, or in the case of a Kimura, either really bad or the other guy's just a lot stronger than you
Yeah.
because you shouldn't be caught with those submissions. But anyway, I think Fluffy Hernandez has the skills
Hmm.
to beat Sean Strickland. I just don't know how well he'll do with the pressure
Hmm.
because we've seen Sean Strickland fight against people who move forward. He deals with it fairly well,
Yeah.
fairly well. But Fluffy Hernandez, I don't know. I don't know. And Sean Strickland's not an easy guy to hold down, to keep on the ground.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I don't know. I do think Fluffy has something to prove because Sean Strickland did share a really stupid meme on his Instagram or his Twitter or something. It was a Photoshop picture of himself as an ICE agent and
Oh shit! I did
Fluffy
not see
Hernandez
that.
as yeah,
Oh
yeah,
god.
yeah. He did that, and and Fluffy saw that, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna torture him for that. Sean Strickland, he's such an edge lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like he's 14 still. But he did that, and Fluffy was like, oh yeah, which could be a good thing. Maybe
Yeah.
he's gonna go in there and just, dominate, or the emotions will get the better of him. So I don't know. It's a
Hmm.
toss up at this point for me. I usually have a very strong idea of who I think is gonna win, but this is
Yeah.
a toss up for me. I don't know. How do you see the fight going?
After the Dolitze fight, man, he just, I don't know how can I never thought Dolitze would lose like that. All right, like he just bullied him. He just
Mm,
bullied a person who's
yeah,
bigger than him, a light heavyweight, and this
yeah.
guy's a middleweight. I know Sean Strickland has a really good ground game, even if he doesn't, use it as much. I know he can get to his
Mm,
feet even if he's taken down, but Fluffy's too physical, man. Like with his takedowns and like the
mm,
frequency with which he chases the level changes, like Mirab, like you said, and Fluffy is a decent striker too. I mean, he is primarily a striker, surprisingly, not a wrestler.
mm, mm.
So, yeah, but then again, in the striking department, I think Sean Strickland will be able to easily set the pace. But when Strickland
Yeah.
is setting the pace on the on the feet, I think Fluffy would easily be able to disrupt his rhythm with level change attempts, even if he doesn't get the level change. So
Mm,
it's I don't know. I don't see Strickland dictating the pace, like you said. I don't see that happening. It might be him more so
right.
defending the takedowns, and yeah, once that point comes when he can't set the pace, then what happens? That is a real question, isn't it? we saw hints of that in the Dracus Duplessis fight, the second fight more so. He couldn't set the pace, and things did go wrong for him. So this might be a repeat of that if he's not careful. So that's what I think. I'm not confident enough to make a prediction for it, but hey, gun to head, if I have to make a prediction, I would still say Strickland,
Yeah,
man. I would still say Strickland because he was in the past able to overcome like really, really good fighters, like even Imavov. So and we
yeah.
know how that guy is. Like he's really good. He's really good. So he has good track record against good fighters. Uh, so yeah, gun to head Strickland, but this is a tricky one. We'll have to see it unfold to actually get a sense of it. That's what I think. Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting fight, regardless, and I think whoever wins is going to be the next
Next
title
in
challenger after Imavov,
yeah.
because especially if Strickland wins, because he's been calling out Hamzat for
Hmm.
well over a year now. He just keeps saying like,
Yeah.
I want to fight him. Hamzat's this and that, and so on and so forth. So we'll see what happens. But speaking of beefs, Joaquin Buckley has been making it his duty to represent MMA in the MMA versus boxing feud because Shakur Stevenson and Terrence Crawford were recently on what's his name? Aiden
Aiden.
Ross's
Yeah.
Aiden Ross's stream, and Aiden Ross was asking them about MMA versus boxing,
Yeah.
and they were of the opinion that boxing is superior to MMA, that boxers are more skilled, and that boxing will always be better than MMA. And Aiden Ross, I don't know why he asked them this specifically, but he said, "Oh, you don't think that John Jones could go into boxing?" And well, okay, the things that make
Yeah,
John
that
Jones
was a dumb
great in
question.
MMA have nothing to do with boxing. In
Yeah.
fact, John Jones' boxing is the weakest part of his MMA skill set.
Exactly. Exactly.
But it brings up an interesting point where Joaquin Buckley said,
Mhm.
if we got into a street fight, I would kill you. I would kill you. And Terrence Crawford,
Yeah.
who has a past
Yeah.
known to, in the past, he has said things to other fighters like, if we fought in the streets, I would break your fucking neck,
Yeah.
word for word. That is what he said.
Yeah.
But suddenly, when Joaquin Buckley says, "Yeah, if we got in a street fight, I would kill you," Terrence Crawford says, "Oh, like who even fights in the streets anymore? you know, we have we make switches for guys like you.
Yeah.
Come on." So you had all this energy for another boxer,
Mm.
but when an MMA fighter is the one saying like, "Hey, if we fought in these streets, I would actually kill you." It's just the old boxing versus MMA debate. Which sport is bigger? Who's actually the better fighter? And Joaquin Buckley, he kept saying like, "Hey, but like, prove it, prove what you keep saying."
Yeah.
And I don't think it's ever gonna happen. It's never gonna
Yeah.
happen. There are very few boxers who are willing to test themselves in MMA and really put their legacy at risk. Terrence Crawford would never do it. He didn't even want to do it against Conor McGregor when
Yeah.
Conor McGregor was coming off that leg injury. Conor McGregor is never going to be the same Conor McGregor we remember,
Yeah.
but he didn't even want to fight that version of him.
Yeah.
So he's not going to want anything to do with someone like Buckley. And the only boxers that come to mind as people who were willing and were not afraid to test themselves in MMA. James
James
Toney,
Sony.
obviously, he fought Randy Couture.
Yeah.
But James Toney approached it with zero respect for MMA. He did. That's why he got submitted very quickly.
Yeah.
Actually, three come to mind. Holly Holm,
Yeah.
who's a
Yeah.
boxer as well. She was, a very successful boxer, and Clarissa Shields, who really Clarissa Shields just has that dog in her. She's a fighter. She's a fighter's fighter. She's
Yeah.
not just a boxer. She's a fighter's fighter, and she was not scared at all. And it's just a shame. Like a lot of boxers make these comments, these statements. Just try it out once. It's not going to impact your legacy. We all know you're a boxer. going into an MMA fight. And Terrence Crawford, of all people, who has a wrestling background, it's not a high level background by any means, but he has a wrestling background. Just,
Yeah.
go in there. It shouldn't be that big of an adjustment, but
Hmm.
he doesn't want to do it. Joaquin Buckley is, he's calling them all cowards and this and that. Um, People were asking Dana White, "Hey, what do you think of
Ah,
this?" And he's,
stupid
what
question
is
of
he
the night,
supposed to think
Apor.
of that?
Yeah, yeah,
Like, what is
yeah.
he even supposed to say to that? What is he supposed to say to that? It's not he can't do anything about that. Terrence Crawford, who got what, like 100 million or something for fighting Canelo, he's gonna fight Buckley for like 500K.
Some sense, yeah, it's not
Like,
gonna do that.
nah.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, I think it's the same thing. Like with
Mm,
WWE wrestlers, right? I think now people do know it's scripted and stuff. There was a time when people knew it, but people were still, a lot of people still thought
mm,
it was real. It was for real. So even if they're not actual fighters or anything, they have to maintain this persona that they are this tough guys and no one can match up to them when it comes to
yeah.
a physical confrontation. It's the same thing.
Mm,
Terence Crawford, he is one of the best boxers of this generation for sure. Maybe the best boxer of the
yeah.
generation. Maybe he
Yeah.
just he
Probably.
just completely outclassed Canelo. Right? I mean, granted, Canelo was on the decline or whatever, but he did outclass him. So
Mm,
he is a tough guy of boxing, man. So they can't let that ploy die down. Like people know if a boxer comes to the MMA ring, they are face a significant, like face a decent competition. They are not gonna. It's not gonna end well for the boxer. People know that, but they still want
yeah.
to keep that image. Like if we fight, you never know. They have to keep that image. I think that's what Terence Crawford and even Shakur Stevenson is trying to do.
Mm,
Like they would be the tough guy and they would call out when it's fellow boxers. They would say stuff like, "If it's in the streets, it's on." But when it's against natural
mm,
MMA fighter, they can't afford to say that. They need to guard their, or they need to safeguard their persona as a tough guy, right? I'm not saying that they're not
yeah.
tough guys. They are one of the toughest human beings alive. But like compared to MMA guys, they are in an actual fight. They are at a severe disadvantage, and that's not a subjective opinion, right? That's just objective. So I think that's it.
Yeah.
Even if he is offered hell of a lot of money, he can't he can't afford a James Stoney situation again. So
Mm.
it's never gonna happen. But didn't Buckley even call him out for a boxing match, or am I remembering it wrong? Did he call him out for a boxing match as well? No.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. He might have because he probably saw the payday, but
Yeah,
I don't
that is
understand
never
MMA
happening.
fighters calling out.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's never happening.
even if that
First of all, you're
happens,
under
he's gonna
contract with
wipe the
the
floor
UFC.
with, yeah, Buckley. Yeah,
One round,
yeah, one round. Yeah,
2 rounds max.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
true.
never gonna happen. I don't know why UFC fighters still do this thing of hey, let's meet in a boxing match. You're under contract. It's not happening. It's just not happening. But speaking of UFC fighters who had boxing matches to have an opponent and a date, he's just waiting for his contract. Honestly, at this point, I don't know what to make of it other than just I'll believe it when I see it. Until I see Conor McGregor making the walkout to the octagon, I
Yeah,
will not believe anything that has to do with this man coming back to fight because he was fighting um when what 2021, I believe, unless
yeah,
I'm mistaken,
yeah. 21,
around that mark.
21.
So,
Hello,
oh,
hello. Yeah, I think I,
five
I
years.
lost
Ha-
your
have
signal for a bit there. That's all
uh,
right. Yeah, yeah,
uh, yeah, I was saying that it's weird because we've been waiting for Conor McGregor to come back for like
yeah.
around half a decade now, and there are
True.
no signs of training, sparring. He looks good and this and that, but then the next day we're hearing about how he's dealing with this lawsuit, or he's partying here, and
Yeah.
he's. I don't think. Again, I said it before. I don't think he's ever fighting ever again. If he
Hmm.
does come back, great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be for one fight, I'm sure. He's not gonna come back for two, three fights or anything like that. I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. And then to make it worse, he deleted the tweet. Like he
Oh,
deleted the tweet where he claimed that he
okay.
has an opponent and a date, and he's just waiting for his contract. So what are we making of that? Is he actually coming back? And who would even fight besides Michael Chandler, who's been.
It is. It is a classic boy cried wolf situation, isn't it?
It
Hello.
is, yeah.
Yeah. It is a classic. It is a situation like that. I don't think people believe him anymore. Like whatever he tweets out regarding fights, I don't think people give a rat's ass unless there is solid paperwork. Anything he says would not have any weight with the fandom. And even if he is the one presenting the actual paperwork, I don't think people would even believe that. Dana Wood should come out and like officially state it for people to come out, people to actually believe him, because he has lied so much or said
Right.
half truths so many times that the fandom is not entertaining his, his craziness anymore. So I don't think he's gonna. Again, who would he fight? Like exactly like you just mentioned, like Michael Chandler. Dana is a no go for that. Maybe, maybe Jorge Masvidal. I don't know, man. Like who?
Maybe.
Maybe
Nate
like
Diaz, I don't know.
yeah, Nate Diaz is another one. But then again, Dana. I don't think Dana would be crazy to welcome him back to the UFC after he cut ties with them. He is one to hold
Yeah.
grudges. We know that. So who would he fight? Who would he fight? A striker who's, I think Masvidal might be the only one, like who is at
Oh,
least like
there's,
passably
I
okay.
mean, at light. I mean, he's not gonna fight at lightweight because
Welterweight, welterweight,
he doesn't want to
welterweight, of
make the weight
course,
cut
170.
welterweight. I think, but the thing is, it would have to be against a guy that's fun, and I don't know, maybe Fazeev or someone like that, because Fazeev at this point he's a
Fazeev.
solid lower, like he's at the lower end of the top 10 at lightweight,
Okay,
maybe
okay.
top 15,
Yeah,
because Fazeev is never making it to the title ever. I mean, there's a very clear wall that he has that we've seen
yeah.
in the past couple of years, or maybe someone like, I don't know, Dan Hooker. There are not many options for, hey, let's get this guy who's a fun, friendly kind of striker, but not too good that he might just completely annihilate Conor McGregor. Even though I think Fazeev would,
Would
at
he
this
would
point, I
kill
think
him
Fazeev
at this point?
would brutalize him. But I don't know who can he fight other than, yeah, the Nate Diaz's and Jorge Masvidal's of the world.
Ricardo, do you
The thing
actually
is,
believe?
neither guy is.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you actually believe like Conor
Go
McGregor would
on.
have a decent chance against any active fighter? I don't think so, bro. Come on.
Any active fighter? Yeah, there are fighters for sure that I think he would start just because there are fighters that are really bad.
No, no. Let's say like
Um, I
top 10, top 15 in the lightweight
mm,
or welterweight divisions. I don't know.
someone like Bobby Green. Um, like the thing is, Bobby Green can win, but Bobby Green is a head case, so he'll get in his own way or he'll do something genuinely stupid in the fight.
Yeah.
I also think it's not just the stylistic matchup. I think it's the occasion of fighting Conor McGregor. A lot of
Yeah.
fighters will crumble under the pressure, like, oh, this is a Conor McGregor card, and I'm in the main event. Like that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure. And fighter Jose Aldo crumbled under the pressure of
Yeah.
all people, of
And he was the
all people.
champion.
So yeah, arguably the greatest featherweight of all time. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Volkanovski. Volkanovski's the greatest featherweight of all time at this point. But Jose Aldo is, that guy's a goat. He's incredible. And even he just felt dwarfed by just the circus of it all that Conor McGregor brings with him. So how many fighters would be able to handle that, especially when we're talking about fighters on the lower end of the division? Like they've never been exposed to any kind of, media circus of that magnitude.
Yeah.
So how many of them would, for example, get sleep the night before with the nerves of, oh, I'm fighting Conor McGregor tomorrow in the main event, and this is a massive fight. I'm seeing all the attention this is getting, and this and that. I think most guys would just beat him if it was just like, hey, you and me, you train, I train, we meet at the gym in a cage and we fight. Yeah, they
Yeah.
kick his ass. But with the occasion of it all, the pageantry, the circus, the pressure, the fans, I don't know if some of these guys would be comfortable with that. The
Yeah,
trash
that
talk,
is
the
fair. Yeah.
fans speaking over them, it's a lot. So I don't know. I think, from skill to skill, there's not many guys I can see Connor at this stage in his career beating, especially at lightweight. But I think there are guys who are really bad. Like, I know he just won his fight, but Benoit Saint Denis is terrible. Like, that guy is terrible. He was getting pieced up by Dan Hooker, and he only won because Dan Hooker had the negative fight IQ moment that he always has and decided to go for a takedown. It's like, why are you trying to grapple with BSD? Why? Benoit Saint Denis is not even that good a wrestler. He's just really good once the fight is already on the ground. But on the feet, he's terrible. The guy just kind of comes forward, no defensive striking, no distance management, nothing, and he gasses himself out walking into these shots. I think if you do that against even a rusty Conor McGregor, I mean that's you don't have to do much work against someone like that. Just wait for them to come in and just snipe them. So I think he could beat someone like Benoit Saint Denis, who's just very slow. I just don't think he's good. He's not good. But obviously, if the fight goes to the ground because I don't know somebody slipped or something, yeah, it's over. I do think if they get in the clinch, it's a wrap because Dustin Poirier has fought Habib,
Hmm.
he's fought Islam, both guys that are known for being very physical wrestlers and grapplers. But Dustin Poirier only said this about one person. He was really strong. He said that about Benoit Saint Denis
Okay.
in the post fight interview. He was like he was pretty strong. He's never said that. He didn't say that about Islam. He didn't say that about Habib, guys who are supposedly the strongest lightweights and this and that. But he said BSD was really strong. So I think yeah, if he gets you in the clinch and he manages to drag you to the mat, it's pretty much over. But BSD is just one of those guys that he's just such a sitting duck on the feet. I mean, two front kicks from Dan Hooker, and you already look like you want to vomit. Conor McGregor loves that front kick. He brutalized Chad Mendes with that. And again, that's a different version of Conor, but I
That
don't
is
think
it.
you have to be that good if you have these skills in your back pocket and you can just watch tape on BSD and go, okay, I just have to do this and that. He does not like body shots. But besides Benoit Saint Denis, I mean, I don't know. Who can Connor really beat? Like, genuinely, who? Like, I think almost everybody except
Yeah.
Michael Chandler, just because Michael Chandler really, 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 really sucks.
Yeah, at this point,
He's
yes.
not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Well, the thing with
Like, Michael
Connor
Chandler,
is, yeah.
yeah, I just don't think there's anybody for him to fight. They'll have to bring back those legends, or legend Nate Diaz. I don't think Jorge Masvidal's a legend.
Yeah.
I think he had his moments, but they could bring them back, I guess. But the thing is, those guys are tough negotiators.
Yeah.
It's not easy, you know. It's not easy negotiating with Nate
It'll be
Diaz and
tough
Jorge
on
Masvidal.
Dana's
So
ego as well. So it's gonna be bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
having to bring them back. I don't know. I just don't know. Who do you get Conor to fight at this point who wouldn't just destroy him? You know,
I don't. Yeah,
he's been
legends like
away
you
for
said
too.
should be one of those legends because Connor is one of his. He was a great sniper, right? Like he just moves out of range, like finds the range, like just comes in with his like jabs and straights. Even his deep kicks, like he used to be elusive on his feet,
Mm,
uh, deadly with his counter punches as well. But I think once you lose that flinch energy, right? Like just connect on that flinch. I don't think you get it back.
yeah.
It's one of the things that if you lose it, you lose it. So I think he has lost it for now. So I think he
Mm,
has lost his most potent weapon, and without that, he's not the corner of hold anymore. So anyone who is a decent
yeah.
fighter on the UFC roster, who's active fairly enough, even with all the nerves and stuff, I think it would be a wrap for Connor. But the legends against the legends, maybe because even they have been inactive for a
Mm,
while, they have lost their edge as well. So let's see. We won't have to wait
yeah.
much longer because apparently the card is already made. The UFC White House card. There are two versions apparently. So
Mm.
maybe next month, early March, we'll get to know about it.
Well,
Maybe,
hopefully, but
hopefully,
we'll see who they get to headline this because there's no stars really. But
yeah.
we'll see. It's probably going to be Justin Gaethje versus
Ilya
Ilia
Topuria,
Topuria, and then
yeah,
you know what a crazy ending that would be for the White House card to see your American champion just getting flatlined by, by
yeah,
Ilia
yeah.
Topuria.
There's no way.
That's
There's
just
no
going to be
way.
hilarious.
There's only
Yeah,
one
there's
end
zero
to
chance.
that.
There's zero chance.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's this. I don't see anybody beating Ilya at lightweight unless it's Arman. Arman's the only guy I
yeah,
think would beat him.
yeah.
Like I would favor Arman to beat Ilya if they fought, which is probably why
And I
Ilya
think he
doesn't want to
knows
fight
it.
him either.
I think he knows
He
it. I
knows
think
it.
I
He
think
does.
Ilya knows it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Arman's tough, man. He's a freak of nature.
Oh shit, man. And
But
coming to champions, you must have heard about that whole Tom Aspinall situation, right?
oh yeah, oof. I mean,
Sheesh.
what to make of that? So he's not gonna fight for a long time. There are all these rumors now about an interim title fight between Cyril Gahn and Alex Pereira. They both posted updates on their Instagram that were very cryptic, but both implying like, "Hey, let's the work starts now." Okay, what are you talking about? So we'll
Even
see.
rumors about
Uh,
Dana wanting him to vacate and don't want to go box.
yeah,
I
oh,
don't
that'd
know.
be terrible.
That'd be
Tom
bad.
should not go anywhere near a boxing ring. Tom is cool and everything, but he's not that good a striker. What he is very effective. He's very fast. He's agile. He's explosive, and he has one of the fastest one-twos I've ever seen at heavyweight. But he doesn't have anything else besides a one-two.
Yeah.
It's just one-two, one-two, one-two. I'm very, very, very fast.
Even his footwork, man, not
What are you
as
gonna do?
crisp as Gahn or someone like that, right?
Yeah, keeps his chin in the air all the time.
Yeah.
Uh, he should stay away from the boxing ring. Just look, be an MMA fighter. That's what you're good at. Get that fight with Gone back. See if you can win, and then just continue building your legacy because a lot of people are now saying things like, oh, paper champ this, paper champ that, and so on. So, he has to do something about that. But it's an unfortunate situation that he's in,
Yeah.
but not as unfortunate as Jailton Almeida, who was cut from the UFC. Sheesh.
Huh. I
That,
don't understand that one, by
that.
the way. Why cut him? It's too early to cut him, I feel.
So I think it's because he's not a fun fighter. And the
Hmm.
UFC has been moving in this direction of we want the fun fights, as opposed to being the promotion known for having the best fighters in the world.
Yeah.
Jailton Almeida, it's weird because when he first signed with the UFC, there was all this hype around him
Yeah.
because most of his fights, except for one, were all finishes. It was submission, TKO, submission, submission, TKO, TKO, this and that, this and that. But then the moment he started fighting quality opponents, the finishes just started to slow down. It's similar to Movzar Evloev. Movzar all finishes before he signed with the UFC. And the moment he fights in the UFC, the finishes just stop. He hasn't finished anybody in the UFC at all. Granted, Movzar is really, really good. Jalton Almeida is skilled. He has skills, but his problem is that Jalton Almeida doesn't know how to fight. Like he can't fight. That's the vibe I get from him. He can't fight. He's an athlete, he's a
Hmm.
competitor, but he cannot fight. The guy cannot strike to save his life. He's scared to strike. Like he's scared to throw a punch. It's the weirdest thing. And when he does get you on the ground, he doesn't use any ground and pound at all. He's just kind of,
Holding you down. Yeah.
content with using his positional grappling, control, control, control. Maybe he'll get a submission here and there, but nah, not much more than that. Like this guy's not. It's annoying when you see a fighter who doesn't want to fight. Like if you don't want to fight, why are you an MMA fighter? He should just focus on jujitsu. You know, go do some no gi jujitsu
ADCC.
or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
That'll work because he's just I don't know what it is. He just doesn't like fighting. It's such a weird thing. You have Derek Lewis for like when he fought Derek Lewis, he had Derek Lewis on the ground. He was in mount and he was doing nothing, just controlling his wrists. Like
Yeah.
you have him in the mount position for over a minute and you're not doing anything. You're not dropping elbows. Like, nothing really. Not Derek Lewis, who's not a good grappler by any
At all.
means.
At all. Yeah.
Like at all. The big struggle with Derek Lewis is that he's really strong. So he has those moments where he's on the ground and he just gets up, like he just stands up. But he was able to keep him on the ground. Okay, so that's all the work done. Just beat him up, use some ground and pound. Nothing. He was just controlling, holding his wrists. The weirdest thing. Like I don't understand it. I like he clearly has a hang up when it comes to hurting
Hmm.
his opponents. I don't know what it is. And then after he lost this recent fight, which ended so badly, they did the whole, the Max Holloway pointing at the center in the last 10 seconds. And fighters need to stop doing that. Stop doing that. That's Max Holloway's thing. Stop doing that. You all look awful when you do that. It
And they
doesn't
don't
look
follow
good.
through. That is the
That's
problem.
Max's thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just leave that to Max. That's
Yeah.
not your thing. They need to stop that. And then for Jalton Almeida to do that, like he did it, and then he didn't throw a single punch. He just
Exactly.
he just stood there. Like, what is this? That's the worst thing he could have done.
Yeah.
I can imagine the UFC saw that and they're just like, all right,
That
just
is
get rid of this
aura
guy.
death for generations.
That was so bad.
Yeah.
And to make the aura debt even worse, right after that loss, his coach comes out and goes, "Yeah, Jalton Almeida is gonna move back down to light heavyweight. He's gonna chase the title there." And then he gets cut. Well, I get the PFL should scoop him up immediately
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Maybe he'll
what else
get
are they
his
gonna do?
confidence back there and maybe he'll come back. Who knows? Who knows? Let's see.
Yeah, go fight some guys in the PFL. Maybe get a matchup with Ngannou. That's probably the most he's ever gonna get as an MMA fighter. But
Hmm.
yeah, I don't think that would end well for him. Fighting Ngannou, sheesh,
That is not going to
that's
end well for
bad.
most people. So forget him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's. Oof. But I think that's it in terms of
Yeah.
everything there
Yeah.
is to
Yeah.
cover. Besides maybe some minor things like Paulo Costa saying he's he's going after the light heavyweight title.
Hmm. I mean, we'll believe it when we see it, right? I think his future is in middleweight. He's not.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
he is a good middleweight. I mean, he could still. I mean, he won against who was the guy? The recent one, Roman. Who did he beat? the last time around.
Roman Kopylov.
Roman Kopylov. Yeah, that was a good win. That was a good win. He just needs to
Kopylov.
dress his
Yeah.
groove back, and he'll be in the mix. He can still make a title run, I believe. Let's see. Let's see. So that's it. I think
Hmm.
we have almost like covered everything.
Yeah.
And next time we are back, I think we'll have more exciting news. Things are gearing up, right, in the MMA world. A lot of big news is coming, I think, in the next few weeks. So when we come back, we'll have
Yeah.
much, much more things to talk about, I believe. So Ricardo, take it away, man. Let's
Yeah, I think
yeah.
so. Yeah. I think we've covered everything. Next time, we're probably going to be talking about UFC 326 with the BMF title fight between
No,
Max
that's a
Holloway
fight.
and Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
That's a banger. So until then, we'll just be biding our time,
Yeah.
watching the landscape of the sport, and we'll see. Until next time, guys.
Peace.